Hi everybody. Today I am going to tell you a story. All of you have to listen to it very carefully. But before I start the story, I want to ask some questions. Now, who built our homes? Who is an architect? Who built the home for the birds? What are they called? Yes, they are called nest. Have you seen the nest of a bird? What are the material used to build the nest? Where are they built? How do they look like? Have you peeped inside the one? By now, you must have understood that today we are going to study something related to the birds and their nests. You are right. We are going to study lesson number 7, nesting habits of birds. In this lesson, we are going to learn how do birds reproduce, kinds of nests, migration. Now I am going to start the story. In a jungle, now there live few animals. You tell me, which all animals live in the jungle? Let us have a look. Which all animals were there in this jungle? There was a giraffe and a rhinoceros, elephant, tiger, zebra, and yes, there were few birds also. The one was woodpecker. The next one, swan, eagle, stork, swallow, penguin. Now you will say that a penguin live in icy places. You are very smart. But some penguins can be found in warmer places also. Now, along with these birds, there also lived weaver bird, tailor bird, etc. Now, what happened? One day, the birds started fighting. All of them started shouting. All the animals were wondering, why are these birds shouting? What happened to them? Cow, 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 quack, quack, this way. How you shout in the class for getting your things. This way all the birds were shouting and all the other animals started wondering, what happened? Why are they fighting? Why are they shouting? Now, there was an intelligent animal. Who was it? Yes, it was Appu the elephant. Appu asked one of the bird, a parrot, why are they fighting? What is the problem? The bird replied, they are fighting for the material they use for building their house. Appu asked, building their house? The bird replied, yes, for making nest. Appu told the parrot to tell all the birds to gather near a tree in the jungle and he's going to help them to solve their problem. The parrot went to all the birds and the parrot told them to gather near a tree in the jungle. So all the birds started coming near the tree in the jungle. The elephant asked, why were you shouting? What do you want? The talkative parrot said, I will tell you. To reproduce. Elephant asked, reproduce? Yes, I will tell you how do birds reproduce. why do they have to build a nest? Now he started telling. Birds are among a few other animals who build their own homes. Different birds make different types of nest. Their nesting places also vary. Some nests you can find near the buildings. Some are on the very high mountain or a very high branch of a tree. Now they build the nest to lay eggs and raise their young ones. All birds reproduce by laying eggs. When they have to lay eggs, they build homes called nest. Yes, the home of a bird is called as a nest. Now, some birds simply make a shallow depression in sand or a burrow dug into the ground, a chamber drilled into a tree, a shelf made of dried saliva, a mud tomb. The smallest bird nests are those of hummingbirds. The nest of hummingbird looks like a tiny cup. It is up to 2 centimeters only. So small. Do you think that all the birds build nests? No, not at all. All the birds do not build the nest. So, can you name a bird who doesn't build the nest? I will tell you. Cuckoo are lazy birds. They do not build their own nests. They lay their eggs in the nest of other birds. Penguin too does not build a nest. It lays its egg on a platform of stones on the ground. The quail also doesn't build its nest. It lays the eggs in the nest of the crow. The poor crow thinks that they are its own eggs and take care of the eggs of quail. Now, in this we are going to study how do birds reproduce. Birds build nests to lay eggs. That is when they reproduce. As you all know that the birds reproduce by laying eggs. Usually after laying eggs, female bird sits on them to keep them warm. That is called incubation. In some species, the male bird, that is the father of the little bird, also sits on them to keep them warm. After a few days, egg breaks open and the baby bird comes out. The parents protect and feed the chicks until they look after themselves and learn to fly. Now, usually a mother bird or a female bird sit on the eggs to keep them warm. This process is known as incubation. Now, in few species or in few birds like penguin, dove, hummingbird, female sits on them to keep them warm, or the mother bird incubate the eggs. Sometime the father or the male bird sit on the eggs. Now, in penguins, cardinals, oriole, these are the birds in which the father bird sits on the bird to keep them warm. Now, the incubation time varies from 10 days to 3 weeks. The shell of a bird is very strong. After a few days of incubation or at times weeks, the egg breaks open. And what do you think? What happens when the egg breaks open? What is it called? It is called as Hatching, the process of the egg breaking open and a small bird called chick coming out of it. It is called as hatching, and the small bird is known as chick. So, the process of the bird breaking the egg and a baby bird coming out is called hatching. The baby birds of most of the birds are helpless. Like, have you seen a human child, a small brother or sister of yours, which is very small? Can they do their own work? Can they move on their own? Can they eat? No, they are helpless. They depend on the parents for all these things. In the same way, the chicks are also helpless. They have to be fed by the parents. Most of them do not have feathers on their bodies. The young of some of the birds, like moorhens, which is a type of water bird, are well developed when they are born. They soon leave the nest and follow their parents around to find food for themselves. Do you know that the ostrich lays the biggest egg? Now, have you seen the ostrich or the picture of an ostrich? The ostrich itself is very big. So, an ostrich egg is as big as 24 hens' eggs put together in weight. Now, see the picture. In this picture, in the first picture, can you see the nest of a bird with eggs? And in the same picture, there is a baby bird coming out of the egg. Right? What do we call it? Yes, it is called as hatching. Now, a bird hatching from an egg. Now, have you seen or opened an egg? If you eat an egg, now have a look at the egg of a hen at your home. There is a hard outer shell that protects the egg. With the help of your parents, carefully open the shell using the spoon and ask your mother, what do you see inside the egg? What do you call it? So, we studied how do birds reproduce. Most of the birds reproduce by laying eggs. After the eggs are laid, one of the parents, usually the mother, in some cases the father bird, also sits on them to keep them warm. This is called as incubation. The days or weeks for which the eggs are to be incubated depends or it varies from one bird to another. Now the bird starts growing inside the eggs. After a few weeks, when the baby birds are fully developed, they break open the egg. In how you can look in the picture, the bird is trying to break open the egg and it is called as hatching, and the bird is trying to come out of the egg. The parent birds feed and protect the young birds until they can look after themselves. So, the birds when they are born, they are weak. They can't eat on their own. Most of them cannot fly when they are born. So, they are dependent on their parents for the food. Have you seen the birds bringing the food like seeds, worms, etc. and feeding the young ones? So, in this way, the parent birds take care of the birds until they learn to fly. And Once the bird learns to fly, it flies away, and the parent also leaves the nest. Next time, if the parent has to lay the egg, they build another nest.